Ah, you bastard. Shit, blimey! Oi. Oh, God. Wow. Oh. doing, Squiggly? What are you doing, Squigglets? Alrighty. What's the world doing today? That's not gonna help, bud. That's not gonna help. No. 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 Come on, baby. Come on, baby. No. Right. Enough's enough. What are you doing? Lovely jubbler. Right, you're gonna get a smack in a minute. Yeah, now what are you gonna do, huh? Now what are you gonna do? Hey? Now what are you gonna do? Now you're gonna try and escape. Huh? So you can annoy me, but I can't annoy you. Is that how it is? Is that how it is? You can annoy me, but I can't annoy you. That's not fair, buddy. That's not fair. Yeah, headbutt the mic. That's cool, isn't it? That's a cool thing to do. That's a bit headbutts you back. Then what are you gonna do? Eat my pens? Yeah, you eat the pens. Cause that's not gonna kill you, is it? Dodo. You little dodo. Well, this is classic search and destroy, is it not? Is it not? I'm currently short. I'm currently shorty. Short. But I was anticipating it to just chop suey about. So, not looking for anything sexy. What's up with you? Why are you eating that? You want someone to chase, don't you? What about this? Ready? Ready? Ooh. I'm gonna chase it. Ready? Go get it. Go get it, Squeak. So beautiful fill on this H1 Vluma. The old Vluma on the H1. And then we also had BPR. So with it being search and destroy, what are we doing? Playing liquidity tag. Where's the short-term liquidity? Do we have a fair value gap underneath it that price can run into? Yes. And below that, is there an order block that you'd frame your exit on? Yes. Search and destroy trading, baby. I don't always draw these out. I just eyeball this stuff these days, but that's classic search and destroy, right? Classic search and destroy type delivery, right? Which is how I trade it. Tag buy side, run into a PD array, tag short-term liquidity, frame an order block on the other side of the liquidity as your exit. Hotel room morning. What are you doing in a hotel room, bro? What are you doing in a hotel room? You out working? Are you on a little date, Ainsley? Hey? Hey? Are we going? Have we gone 5-star, or is this like a little 2-star work trip? Big difference. Are you just demo balling to your new little girlfriend in your 5-star hotel, or is this work? Oh. Well. Oh. Well, that was a killer. So your son's had all the fun, right? Your son's had all the fun. Not fair. Not fair. Not the fairzy. It's a beautiful delivery yesterday. We absolutely ripped it a new A-hole. Beautiful. So for those of you who are on in yesterday's, he's gone to Lanzarote. So he's coming back from Lanzarote. Oh, I bet he's gonna have some stories. He's gonna have some stories from Lanzarote. It's a nice place. Cheap and cheerful is Lanzarote. Cheap and cheerful. I want to know how Anna got on yesterday. I want to know if Anna drops in. I want to see if Anna comes. See if she did the 15-minute step back. or whether she blew another account. What do you reckon? Should we take bets? You paid for your hotel. Good boy. Good man. Been brought up right. Respect there. Respect your elders. So, at the moment, with it being search and destroy, I'm half anticipating it to come and tag this buy side. I'm not trading that though. I'm trading this short. You see how easy it is to pick out 5 handles. Search and destroy. You can pick them out all day, any day. All day, every day. So literally, if that is all that it gives me, I'll take it. Got news at 9:30. But I'd be looking for, ideally, for price to get back down into this bisse. Let's get back into this bisse. So we do have a SIBI on the daily, so I'm half anticipating price to want to draw back up into this BPR again, tap into this SIBI for a potential look back down to this range. It's currently what I'm looking at in a minute. You know, so you I'm just holding a runner because, you know, you got buy side, you got run into this BPR, break of market, structure shift, return into an OT for potential continuation. However, with it being search and destroy, I'm half anticipating it to run slightly higher up into this SIBI. So it's a slightly, it's definitely not an A+ setup. Let's put it that way. Uh, but as we know about partials, we should definitely be looking at CE of this wick as a partial. Good morning, good morning. Oh, here she is. Here she is. Good morning, Anna. So, did you or did you not stick to your rules for yesterday? That's what I want to know. It's the only reason why I've come on today, is to find out how you did with your 15-minute rule. Or did you just forget about it? As soon as you got off the stream, you forgot about it. You stuck to it. Okay. So, details, Anna. Come on, don't leave me hanging. Were you green on the day? How did you feel about your trading? Were you more patient? Did you find yourself, were you a better trader? Tell me, Anna. I need to know. I need to know these things. You didn't do it. You didn't do it, did you? You lied to me. You lied to me. Now you're just going to try and fabricate something. Oh, Jesus. I'm developing a cold, so if I keep sneezing, I apologize. Well, that's the first step. It's the first step. Did you finish the day green or red? Be honest. This is accountability. We're open here. Right? We hold nothing back. We're all family. Red. God damn it. But if you were live yesterday, what were we saying was the draw on liquidity? All right. This implied daily fair value gap. So you guys had the target before the open. So when I dipped off back into red pill, you guys had the target. This is a classic example. You can even know where the price is going and still end up red. And that's all down to trade management and trade execution. All right. So Anna, I implore you to stick with it. I implore you to stick with the 15-minute rule. Take a trade, 15-minute break, come back, reanalyze, come back again. Just have patience with yourself. But yesterday, absolutely destroyed yesterday, if I'm honest. We absolutely destroyed the markets yesterday inside of red pill. So if you remember, before the open, before I left you guys, I was talking about this being the line in the sand and price respecting this BPR, right? And so I traded this 5-minute fair value gap up to this BPR. Then I reverted back to this this fair value gap because we had a volume balance that was still left open. Then I traded this leg back up. Then I traded, then I traded this leg back up to this BPR, and then I got out for the session, right? But what was the ultimate draw? It was just this daily fair value gap, right? And then ultimately we had continuation for the rest of the day. And then I traded this short here, this little range here, traded that range. So, nailed yesterday, Absolutely nailed yesterday. So we can go through this. If you guys want to go through this, we can go through this. Just let me know. If you want to go through it, we can go through it. If you want to go through yesterday's price action, let me know in the comments. But currently, at the moment, with it being search and destroy, I'm half expecting price to get back up inside this BPR. However, I am still short. I'm short of this BPR. I don't answer those questions, Ainsley. Hello. 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 I'm not here for calls and puts. It's not my vibe. I'm here to educate, I'm here to give draws and liquidity when price evolves, but I'm certainly not here for calls and puts. Yeah, this cat's a savage. Right? Cats and mice. Cats and mice, right? It's a dangerous combination to have in the same room. She's already been headbutting my mic all morning, so... Honestly, when I go to the toilet, I am dead nervous. In case she just walks across my keyboard. Ah, buy 10 contracts. No! Can you imagine that? Come back and she's just made me 20 grand. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. What do you want? You want trade? You want? Is that you want to trade? Is that you want to trade, face? I'm bored, Dad. Let me trade. God damn you! Here she goes, headbutting the mic again. Bosh, have some of that. What, another go? Yeah, there we go. You psycho. You little psycho. You just want some attention, don't you? You just want some attention. Come sit in the window. Come on in. Come on in. Be free. Be free, animal. Be free. See ya. Alright, alright. So I'm just getting abused by my cat live on YouTube. There you go. A little smack with the tail to finish it off. There you go. Jeez Louise. Get out of here. Get out of here. 2 second mondos. Just gonna nip to le toilette. So where we are at the moment, for me, we're just obviously in search and destroy, consolidating. I'd like to see us get up slightly higher to dip into this SIBI on the hourly with a look to run back into this BISI. But I am currently short of this BPR, so I've still got a runner. So I don't mind if it runs on my position to pressure me my position. So I'm currently just sat in a trade, holding, waiting. If you're oh jeez Louise. Looking for price to get down to 403.50 is what I'm looking for this session's trade. That's what I want to get down to. There's some buy side down here. Sorry, sell side down, pulled up down here. So that's what I'm after. That's what I'm going for. But first target for me will be 406, which is essentially C of this wick on the H1. Let's have a look what that runs into. How many of you tried to short yesterday? How many of you tried to short this price action? This is max pain. If you step in front of a train, you're gonna get run over, right? It's not stopping for anybody. So when you see this price action, trend is your friend. You want to trade with it. But a newbie trader, they're always trying to short this, and this is where they get burnt. They're like, oh, this is it, it's going down. Oh, this is it, it's going down. You just get chopped to bits. You're standing in front of a train. All right, so if you see this spooling price action, price is reaching for a higher time frame target. So what was the higher time frame target yesterday? So once it broke out of this implied daily fair value gap, which was here, right, on the lower time frame, it was clear that price was going to want to drive up to CE of this range, right, to get price back into fair value, right? So you could have taken targets using this bearish order block. So, you know, 41.18 became a logical target out of this range, you know, for price to drive up deeper into this bearish order block. But ultimately, not wanting to short it, knowing that price is likely and is aiming to get price back into fair value, right? It's driving to get price into a short-term premium, into what above equilibrium is technically a premium, right? Going from discount to premium. So you do not want to be shorting this. So I actually took, saying you don't want to short this, I actually took this short to here. So I took a short from essentially equilibrium of this daily order block, which was also, where was it? I think it was like CE of this rejection block. Yeah, so they had this rejection block here on the hourly and CE of that. So C of the rejection block and also equilibrium of this daily order block. So this is where I went short, and I drove it down into short-term liquidity. So I rode it down into the close of this SIBI, expecting price to move higher. So I just took this range here. It was basically a 5-handle trade. So I took that range. That's a higher time frame level trading short-term liquidity, right? But the majority of my trades was done on crude in the morning. So, you know, I took $1,200 on crude in the morning. And then I basically traded all of this range inside a bread pill during the AM session. Yeah, it was a beastie trade, broski. It was a beastie trade. Ended up making over $4 yesterday. Very nice. Very, very nice. So as you can see, price is melting. Looking for this liquidity down here. 406 is my target. And then ultimately 403.25. This is a little range of balanced price range here. This is BPR. So CE of this BPR is a level where price is going to respect, right? So we're looking for it to crack through this. It could respect this and pull back up into the range. It is search and destroy. Don't forget, we've got big news at 9:30. You got Jerome Powell speaking, the money printer. So you're likely going to get
some weird price action running into that time frame, right? So just be mindful of that going into the open, that you have power speaking. Wait for the news to come, and then pick your levels ahead of time where you'd like to see price draw to, and then trade around those levels if price gets to it, right? Don't just jump on price. You know, let price come to you. Don't enforce your will on price. So currently I'm just looking at this order block as my close, which is basically bang on 406, which is inside that H1 wick, taking out this short-term liquidity, anticipating a little bit of the potential for price to pull back, exactly like that. $406.75. So currently in my trade at the minute, stops now above this MIDI. So looking for it to come purge this liquidity, run into this 1 min order block, and that'll be pretty much my London session trade. You know, running down from this BPR down to that 1 minute order block, 15 down to 6. Bish bash bosh, a bish bash bosh. You can see the massive divergence that we also had on the indices that you could have used for confluence to take price lower as well, right? So if we look at this high to this high, and the equivalent of NQ, you can see how ES and YM took the highs, right? Whereas NQ was failing. Also, you can take the same here, from this range to this range. Right? So I'm half expecting price to run these highs, to allow NQ to come take these highs at a later date, right? Good morning, guys. Morning for those who are dropping in, guys. If you find value in these streams, if you could just consider smashing the like, it means a lot. I don't have to come on YouTube. Don't necessarily do it. I'm only doing it for you guys to help you guys develop and learn. So if you find value and content, do consider smashing the like. It means a lot. Currently, quite a few of you, well, considering it's 4:30 in the morning, be appreciated. 8 of you on, 3 likes, 5 of you just being a little bit cold-hearted. That's fair enough. You do you. But trade this morning so far, very simple. Very simple. Alright, you can have a look at this range here, from this high to this low. This low hadn't been printed at that time. But where was price getting into a premium? What did we have? We had this volume imbalance on the hourly, right? Expecting price to come and take out liquidity. Right, so looking inside this volume imbalance on the hourly. Right, what do we have inside of that volume balance on the hourly that could give us confluence on a lower time frame? Well, we have balanced price range. This is BPR, right? Tested once, but ultimately, what was it? Where were the bodies respecting? CE, consequential encroachment of that BPR. When price comes back up to it, you can put your trade inside BPR, stop on the other side, right? Taking this buy side out, running into this BPR inside of this volume imbalance, all right? And then if you're playing search and destroy type conditions, you're just looking for liquidity on the other side, search for a order block, bingo, there's your first partial. Then you can play a 2022 and use that as your thesis for continuation if you want. Purge the buy side, market structure shift, return into an OTE for continuation lower. But that for me is a continuation trade, specifically in search and destroy, right? Because there's every opportunity price with search and destroy can come run this high before moving lower, right? So you got to remember 2022 models are always the secondary move, right? It's not the primary move. The primary move is the BPR. This is where an elite trader gets in. Waiting for the displacement, market structure shift, return to an OTE, that is a secondary move, right? So I always say you have to understand the context you're in when you're taking a trade. Right, so if you're getting in here, you have to know the context of why this is a 2022. Well, the 2022 is this BPR, but we're in search and destroy, so you have to allow price to come run up into this BPR. For me personally, I always have to have the context if ever I trade 2022. So realistically, your stop's going to be above here. So if your stop's up here, then that's quite a hefty. Well, it's not hefty. It's what, two, three handles. Nothing major. So if you're going short on the 22, your stop's got to be up here. targeting this short-term liquidity down at 6, you know, it's basically a 3-to-1 R. Not the sexiest trade, but it's a trade nonetheless, right? We have a little bit of potential for a box setup forming here. Thank you, Anna. It's appreciated. It's appreciated. Just hit my target, will you? God damn it! I can finish this little trade. By the way, if you ever hear Anna Bosch, it's because I have my Ninja Trader sounds changed, right? So my target field is a Bosch, right? So a lot of people in RP now use that. So if you ever hear a Bosch, that's the reason why. Sorry, small kicks. It's the small kicks. You know you wanna. You know you wanna. We'll go through yesterday's price action. We'll go through it. So it's currently my last one. Just waiting for it to run down. Stops above the MIDI. Why is it not filling? Ah, Posh! There you go. Happy days! Morning trade done. Oh, $300. Thank you very much. Not the best fill, got a horrible fill. 12 down to 06.25. 300 bucks. Thank you very much. All day, every day. All day, every day. Anyone have any questions about this trade? Why did I take this trade? Anything? Yay, nay? One and done, baby. One and done. You talking about yesterday's price action, Ainsley? Oh no, you're talking about for today, for price to come and run today's price action, to come run all this. Yes, if I have more than one contract, then yes, I would. I'd still have a a stop above this MITI on it if I had any runners. But the thing is, like, I talk about this a lot. Like, a lot of people forget about it, and it's the difference between being successful and not, right? You can't just take ICT concepts in their own and apply them to every chart all the time, right? You have to have context that you're trading in. What is the environment that you're trading in? That comes first, right? What's the environment? What am I anticipating price to do? Then you can apply ICT concepts to it. It's not the other way around. It's not, oh, we have all these inefficiencies down in this deep discount, I'm going to go and trade those, without paying any attention to the market environment. Because the market environment depicts the type of price action that you're likely to see, right? So you can never forget that. Don't get caught into the sort of novice mindset where it's like, this is ICT concepts, I'm just going to apply it to every trading session, right? It doesn't work like that. Context first, trading second. So the context for me this morning is we've had a huge range up the previous day. So if we've had huge range the previous day, what does that mean in the following session? Who can answer that? If we have huge range the previous day, what does that mean the next session? It's just like a very general rule. No. Like, I can't share all this stuff because this is like it's specifically all inside the Red Pill University, right? I'm not trying to plug Red Pill, and I don't care if you join or you don't. But ultimately, we have a whole list of when you're likely to expect choppy price action, right? One of those is when price, if you've had a previous day which is expanded heavily, like yesterday, the next session you're anticipating chop, right? I now know going into this session I'm expecting search and destroy conditions. So why on earth would I be looking for price to come and drive down in all of these inefficiencies? It doesn't make any sense. Yes, it can do that, but it's low probability. If I had runners, sure, but these are the environments where I'm more likely to play search and destroy. Just take my 6, 7, 8, 10 handles, whatever it is, play tight ranges and expect price to draw back up at me, just playing liquidity tag, right? Then we can apply another layer onto why I'm expecting chop. We have Jerome Powell speaking at 9:30. Jerome Powell is the money printer, right? People hang on every word he says. So again, price is likely to be kept in this range ahead of Powell speaking at 9:30. Then we'll get some manipulation and then the big move. All right, so it's more like if there's going to be a big move down into all of this, it's likely to be after Jerome Powell speaks. So again, playing into search and destroy. Context, then trading. Not sure I fully understand your point, Anna, but there's price is doing one of two things, right? It's either moving from a premium to a discount or a discount to premium, or it's looking to rebalance inefficiencies and imbalances in price. That is it. You know, so if we've run back into a premium, you know, you could argue that price is going to want to run back into a short-term discount or a discount before price moves higher, right? But you've got to put that into context. The context is we're expecting choppy price action. The context is we've got Jerome Powell speaking at 9:30. So I don't, at this stage, care at this point in time the daily direction, the daily bias. Right? I don't need it to be profitable. Right? There's times and a place where you can anticipate rangier trades, right? I always talk about it bringing out different weapons. Sometimes I'll bring out a sniper, boosh, and just take my 10 handles, whatever it is, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 handles. And then other days, I'll bring out the tank and I'll trade 20, 30 handles. There's a time and a place for it. Now, where we are right now, inside of London, ahead of Jerome Powell speaking, I'm not interested in trying to depict the daily draw on liquidity at this stage. I want to see where we are coming into the open. I want to see what the manipulated move does when Powell speaks, and then I can trade accordingly depending on where that is, and I can have a better depiction on where I believe price is going to move to. At this stage, it's unclear. Right? So when it's like this and it's unclear, I'm just going to pull out my sniper and trade liquidity. And so I revert to my search and destroy tactics. And my search and destroy tactics, searching for PDRAs with inside of a range, you know, look for short-term discount to premium moves, right? So this is price moving up into short-term premium, right? Okay. What do we have just below it? This BPR, this H1 order block, this H1 volume imbalance, right? So this is like a logical place, like stack confluences, which is above this buy side, right? So price is going to purge this buy side, search and destroy, liquidity tag, and then target liquidity on the opposing side. Where's the short-term liquidity? Well, it's here. Expect to retrace off this order block, continuation down to this low-hanging fruit liquidity, right? What do we have below that? This order block on the 1 min. When I'm anticipating search and destroy, that is it. That is enough. That's enough, right? That is enough, right? You know, that is enough to change anyone's life. Just that range. And I don't care about the daily directional bias. I don't care. I'm just trading liquidity in search and destroy conditions, right? So don't get too caught up on this whole thing, which every trader when they start out is so focused on calls, puts. Where are we going to close the day? Where are we going to start the day? Relax. Relax. Right? There's a time and place for picking the draws and liquidity, and there's a context and environment of when to do that. But after a huge range day, ahead of Powell speaking,
This is not the time to be picking directional draws, liquidity, and daily bias. This is the time to be playing search and destroy and waiting for more confirmation. You need more news. I need more information. I need more data. Right? So if you get people who are out there just going, oh, this is going to be the terminus without any confluences or reasons to why, it's BS. Right? So that's why I don't get drawn into the topic about calls puts, because it's not helpful and it's not useful to anyone. There's a time and place for picking draws and liquidity. Now is not it. To a certain extent, Ainsley, yeah. To a certain extent, yeah. Play what's in front of you, sure. You know, you got to play your opponent. You know, who's your opponent? Your opponent in this scenario is search and destroy. So play search and destroy. You know, don't play a big hitter. All right. Don't play Roddick. All right, Roddick with his Bosh serve. Right, that's the equivalent of just, you know, smashing out a range, right? 300-mile-an-hour serve, bam. You don't want to play that, right? There's time and places for that. Expecting draws and liquidity to go and target lows. Roddick was savage, man. Do you remember all his mannerisms? Ace! That's so many mannerisms, that guy. He was the twitchiest guy at the... It was just an unbelievable serve. Yeah, it was all over the place. I swear he spent so much energy. Just wasted energy. Just on the way, just the amount of... before every serve. It's crazy. Compare that to Roger Federer, who's just like, yo, boom, boom. Little flighty curveball right into the corner. Catch that. Hello. You're back again. You're back again. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I used to play cricket at school. I went to a sports school here in England. I got a scholarship to a sports school, and cricket was one of them. So I did cricket, cross country, and football, soccer, as some Americans would call it. But yeah, I did cricket. I was number four batsman, and even though I'm 6'4", I was a spin bowler. Bit of off spinach. No, offie. The thing is, I'd nick a lot of batsmen out. But because of my height, as an offie, a lot of the time, like it would bounce, right? When it would rip, but it would bounce. But the bounce is a high bounce. So a lot of the time, you know, the even though it was like, you know, bang slap LB, like the height of the bounce, more times than not, would be, you know, seen as going over the stumps, which was frustrating. And a lot of times it would go through the bat and pad and go literally over the stump. So that was quite frustrating. But I'd nick a lot of batsmen out.
because because like if you have like a low delivery of an offie, like they're easy to to drive or to six out, but a bouncy offie is hard to time that bounce, and so I'd nick a lot of people out. Oh Jesus. So yeah, that's my trade this morning, guys. One done. Roger Haparesk. Probably more. What was his name? Keep saying Tyndall, but Tyndall was rugby. Yeah, I was thinking. Who was that? Who was that one who turned into a commentator? Funny guy. Used to do Question of Sport. Tufnell, yeah. More of a Tuffers. West Indies. Indeed. Indeed. I remember back in the heyday of cricket for me was when you used to get the Ashes on BBC. Do you remember that? Like old school Ashes on the BBC. That was like the heyday of cricket for me. I don't watch it so much these days. I've just got like stark memories of a kid because my dad was like Richie Benno, like my dad was a huge smoker, and like our living room just used to be filled with smoke, and on a summer's day like the sun would just like carve through his smoke, and then like we'd have the TV on just watching the Ashes. It was just like one of those things like when I was like a little kid, like in the heyday of cricket. I used to love that. Alex, yeah, do you remember Alex Stewart, the wicketkeeper? He was my favourite wicketkeeper. The guy was sick. Also a good batsman. Just an all-round great cricketer, Alex Stewart. Harmison, God, you remember him? God, what a beast. Remember how overweight he was as well. I'm pretty sure I explained this the other day to you, Liv. Pretty sure I did. Hello. Sorry, games. It's not too far away from where I went to school. I went to Graham Thorpe. Graham Thorpe. What a guy. The one cricketer who I always thought oh, it's Eunice. Yeah. I'm terrible with names, bro. I have dyslexia. So it's one thing I'm terrible at is names. Like I can meet you in person and then within a minute I'll forget your name. I know it's terrible, but yeah, I don't do it on purpose. I just have dyslexia. Graham thought there's one cricketer like really stubby guy who I just thought just did not deserve to be in that team. He had a just horrendous name as well. I'll give you another guess. I think he used to bat at about 6 in the order, something like that. He offered nothing else really, in my view. He was just like literally that's all he was in there was. He'd be in there like in and around 6, and he'd just be in there to keep England in the game when we were playing poop. I think he's Northern. Yeah, I think he was Northern. He's that insignificant you've probably forgotten him. If I tell you his name, you'll remember. But I always used to think, why are you in this team? Stubby. He wasn't fat, but he was short. Like fair hair. When I tell you his name, you'll go, I get it. I get it. Ian Bell. Ian Bell. Do you remember that guy? Ian Bell. Wow. Ian Bell. I used to call him Ian Bellend. Fucking Ian Bell. Useless in my view. Getting Ian Bell. So up $300 on the morning, as I've depicted, search and destroy. So it's just garbage from here. That is essentially my trade on this morning, right? Capturing that range. That's all you need to do. Don't need to jump back in and start forcing stuff. That is it. Lovely stuff. But Eunice, if you weren't there, bro, like so when I was 21. I started a real estate business that became quite successful, and then I ended up creating a job for myself inside of my own business, which is what I didn't ever want, right? I ended up creating something larger than I ever thought I would. And I ended up just becoming a cog in the wheel. And it's, yeah, I just, you know, it's not how I saw my future. I never wanted to work for anybody. And I ended up having to start reporting to shareholders and all this kind of stuff. And it all just became a bit of a drag. So, brought in some partners who sort of oversee that sort of stuff. So I'm, you know, took a bit of a step back from it all, which, you know, sort of opened up my ability to start trading when I was like, probably started really looking into it when I was about 28. And then obviously I found penny stocks, traded penny stocks for a while, and then I found ICT, and then I started trading options, and then I moved into futures. So I'm 35 now. But when I first started, when I was like 28, 29, I didn't really take it that seriously. I was like, you know, trade here and there. It wasn't like something I was doing full time. So now it's something I do full time. So I can't remember the exact time. I think it was between 2 and 3 years. I think consistently profitable. I'd make good money, then I'd lose some, and then I'd make more, and then I'd lose some. But it was a bit sporadic back then. Yeah, I still own the property business. Yeah, we essentially build homes for homeless people and those with learning disabilities. Cheers, bro. Appreciate it. I have a place in London. I have a place in Manchester. I have a place in. I basically have, you know, without sounding like a douchebag, I have places all over. Yeah, I mean, I just. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm just not that. I'm just not that way inclined. I just. It doesn't. For me, it just doesn't. It doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't. I get it can be motivational for people who aspire to that. I get that, but I feel like more times than not, it just has negative connotations to it. So I prefer to just practice what I practice what I preach, and if people talk about it, then that's up to them. You know, I don't actively promote my successes or anything along those lines. It's just got no interest in it. But you know, if people find it motivating or whatever, then that's cool. You know, I'm here to help people with that. You know, if there's things I can help them in their own journey, then I'm more than happy to do that, and you know, explain how I got there, and you know, the steps it takes and what you need to do it to get there, which is the important stuff. You know, it's not all about, you know, fast cars and big houses. You know, that's the end result. The important bit is the steps to get to that. So, you know, that's what I like to preach. That's important. That's, you know, that's the value. So. I'll let the younger Twitter folk who still live at home with their mums do that. Let them bang that drum. Let them get the clout that they want and need. I'm not bothered. If you want it, bro, you just got to work hard for it. This is very, very simple. It's very simple. It's a very, very simple equation for becoming successful. And in fact, I wrote a quote, and you should. So this is for my kids for when I'm long gone. That I've been writing this for probably about 2.5 years. And then every year, at the end of the year, I try and tweak. And basically what I'm trying to create is like the perfect sentence that I can hand down to my kids, and no word is wasted. So not one word in the quote is wasted, right? And it's the key to life. It's the key to success in life. And so it's really important. So I'll share it with you guys now. But you know, it's basically a concoction of everything that I've gone through in my life in order to get where I am, and what it takes to get where I am, right? So it's not long, but no word is wasted. So it's success and happiness is found in the indefatigability and obstinate pursuit of remaining consistently uncomfortable, regardless of your emotion, on the underlying process of any endeavor. Right? That is for me sums up what it takes to be successful at anything, and ultimately find happiness. Right? What's that? That's back to front, isn't it? So success and happiness is found in the indefatigability and obstinate pursuit of remaining consistently uncomfortable, regardless of emotion, on the underlying process of any endeavor. So success and happiness, which is essentially what everyone's striving for, is found in the indefatigability and obstinate pursuit. So that is unbreakable, unshakable, right? Never say never, right? Of remaining consistently uncomfortable. So too many people find themselves in their comfort zone, but the key is to remain consistently uncomfortable, always outside of your comfort zone. If you can constantly push yourself just outside of that comfort zone every single day, that is the key to growth. But too many people stay in a lane and they don't want to grow. So you have to, in everything you do, food, diet, health, mental, your work, everything, remaining consistently uncomfortable, just outside of comfortable, regardless of your emotion, right? So some people will wake up and go, I feel terrible today, I'm not going to do it. Well, guess what? Regardless of emotion. So if you feel good, you do it. If you feel bad, you do it. You just do it. Consistently uncomfortable, regardless of emotion, right? You just do it on the underlying process of any endeavor. So too many people think about the end goal. How do I get here? That's all good. You need to have goals, but what is the process to get there? Process. So you want to become a trader. That's the endeavor. So the underlying process of any endeavor, right? So you have to remain consistently uncomfortable, regardless of how you feel at any stage, on the underlying process of anything it is that you're trying to achieve. And if that endeavor is your true dharma, so that is the thing which you are meant to do, and you'll know if you're meant to do it because you just won't. It won't feel like work for you. You'll just, every time you wake up, you're excited to do it. If you have that feeling, at the end, that is where happiness is. That is where success is. At the end of it, so it's a full circle, right? And the more you become proficient at something, especially if it's something that you love and you're meant to do, the happier and more successful you become, because you become more confident in that thing, right? So just to recap, success and happiness, which is what everyone wants, is found in the indefatigability, indefatigability and obstinate pursuit, right? Unshakable, relentless, of remaining consistently uncomfortable, right? Always being outside of your comfort zone, of the, regardless of emotion, doesn't matter how you feel, Monday to Friday, Saturday to Sunday, you're doing it. On the underlying process, the process, on anything that it is you want to do in life. So on the underlying process of any endeavor, right? That for me is the key, right? So if there's something that you really want to do, so if it is that, if you really do want to become a trader, that you need to focus on the process, and you need to do it every single day, regardless of how you feel, and you need to do it better than anybody else in terms of your work ethic, consistently. And that is where you will find your happiness, right? All right, 2 seconds, guys. Just going to make myself a drink and then I'll be back. Back. Oosh. I think the cat's going to be on one today. I'm going to do my nut in. I'm going to do my nut in. Shubba-dabba-dabba. Search and destroy, right? Tag the sell side, move back into the range. Right, let's have a little scan around. So remember what I was saying earlier about this SMT. So now we've got this high here, which was taken by ES and YM. NQ hasn't taken it. So I'd anticipate price to come and run this high. Not necessarily now, but in today's price action, this is now in my mind for high price to move higher. More sauce. Yeah, so Red Pill Trading is the server, Eunice. So we have a whole host of things. So I don't want to bring it into the live because this is recorded and you know it's out there then. But there's so many different channels in there. We have our own private YouTube channel which has lots of really good resources in there with our elite traders doing live teaching sessions. We hold bi-weekly teaching sessions specifically inside of Red Pill for Red Pill members. There's a whole host of things we have in there. Then we've also got the Red Pill University, which is essentially a complete resource for studying outside of trading hours and all that sort of stuff, which I'm building out and will be building out throughout this year, which is essentially exactly how I trade. Everything in there from my entry techniques all the way down to study entries to the macros, when not to trade. There's loads in there to get your teeth stuck into. And then we have some friendly competition-y type stuff in there. And then obviously we've got our live lobby, which is just a community. We're just basically a little family. Where, everyone's the same in terms of their mindset. And so everyone asks the right questions. Everyone's supporting each other. Some people are funded. People are passing their evaluations. There's a whole community in there. And then we have a library, Red Pill Library, which has thousands of dollars worth of books in there. So we've got everything from Atomic Habits all the way through to the Power of Positive Thinking, Disciplined Trader, Fibonacci Analysis, Commitments to a Trader, How to Beat the Markets, Rich Dad Poor Dad, all in PDF format. So thousands of dollars of books. Yeah, that's just the sort of tip of the iceberg, really. There's all sorts in there. Catching a bit, Ainsley. It's $55 a month, broski, which is dirt cheap. And I'm not doing it for the money. The only reason why it's $55 a month is because I have to pay admin to basically do the back end of all the server and keep it running. And then we also have a foundation, so we sponsor children through the foundation. So portions of that fee goes towards supporting vulnerable children in vulnerable countries. So we currently support a girl called Eulalia from Guatemala. I don't want to support specific numbers, but there's quite a few. There's quite a few. I mean, some people charge over $100 for it, and I just think it's, you know, it's loody. But it's monthly. You can pay yearly if you want. Some people do, but you can pay monthly, and if it's not you don't like it, you know, you don't have to stay. I don't care, you know, because my ultimate goal is not for, I don't really, it's not my goal just to have a server. It's not the ultimate goal. That's essentially everything in there to help the trader become who they want to become. But my goal is to have a trading floor in Miami. I work with pension funds in my real estate business, and so I can quite easily broker a relationship with a pension fund to create a fund. But ultimately I want to get a core of traders to open up that fund with, and so that's my purpose behind Red Pill, because Red Pill will end up eventually becoming a fund. Yeah, it's because a lot of that stuff is just like calls and puts, Eunice. It's like, where's price going? I mean, you know, by the time anyone's got in, you've missed the boat, right? So that's not the goal behind Red Pill. The goal behind Red Pill is to nurture you into you as a trader and give you everything you need to become a successful trader in terms of knowledge based. I am trading live every day inside of Red Pill, so you can look over my shoulder and just like this, you can see my charts. But it's up to you, man. I don't, you know, I don't mind if you do or you don't. But servers that are purely based on calls and puts, signal-based services, they never work. They never ever work. I trade all day, every day. 18-hour days I work. So in the morning session, so during Asia and London, I'm predominantly on YouTube, and then from 9:30 all the way through to the close, I'm live inside a Red Pill. Try and outwork me. I dare you. I dare you to try and outwork me. You won't do it. You haven't got the kahunas. Oh, we got another German. Dankeschön. I love it when people become friends inside of a lobby chat. There's nothing cuter to see. Oh, isn't it sweet? It's like that GIF. Did we just become best friends? No, nothing there for me on oil. What do I do in my spare time? Majority of the time I spend it in the mountains. So I don't have much free time, if I'm honest with you. But when I do, we go out, we go up to the mountains, and we hike mountains. Basically, that's what I like spending my free time doing. If not, going to the pub with some friends, and having a casual few pints and a meal, or playing golf. That's pretty much what I do. If not, I'm on holiday or I'm working. What about you? What about you? But hiking's my favorite thing. Getting up into the mountains. Bliss. Even though the mountains turn into charts, basically. I've been with my missus for 15 years. We're not married yet. Oi oi. And we lost a child, basically. We had a child, but we lost a child. So we don't have any kids. It's all right. But yeah, she's a massive career girl. So she's doing. She's like a what do they call them? God, I'm gonna get dumped now. What do they bloody call them? So she's a qualified phlebotomist. So she takes blood. And she's also a dermatologist. That's what she is. So she's a skin specialist. So she's a career girl. Planning to do kids again is something we're looking at doing, but it's just timing and all that sort of fun stuff. But yeah, we've been together since I was like, basically it's so funny because like the first property I ever bought, right? So this is when I was like, I bought my first property pretty much when I was about 21. I lived in America for a bit, and then I came back, and then I basically worked as a financial consultant, and I basically made some money doing that. And then my brother was working in film and TV, and he made a bit of money. And so we pulled our money together, and we bought our first house in an absolute dump up in the north. And I still had my job back then in finance, and so we completely gutted this house. I mean, like back to brick stuff, right? And there's a couple of stories here, but anyway, there was no bedroom because obviously everything was ripped out. There was no furniture in there because we were just completely renovating the place. The first ever house we bought, and my brother and I would sit on YouTube at night learning how to like plumb a toilet or learning how to like bleed a radiator, all this kind of stuff. But I literally just had a duvet, like a I don't know what you Americans, or if anyone's American, call them, but I think you call them duvets, on the floor, and one pillow. And I'd have I'd have to get up and go to work in a proper suit and have a suit job and have like a proper desk job while sleeping on the floor with dust and crap, tools, plaster, wet plaster everywhere, and just literally sleeping on this duvet with a pillow. And so my missus I started dating my missus back then. That's when I first met her. And she would come back to this house and she literally thought I was a squatter. Like she thought, like honestly, for about 18 months, she thought I was a squatter. She didn't think I owned a house or anything. She literally just thought I was squatting in this, in this house, just literally sleeping on this duvet with a pillow in the middle of this gutted house with like literally just bricks, no heating, nothing, no plumbing, just freezing our tits off. And so she would make me. She would make me, because like basically I'd like knocked all the doors out, all the walls that were out, so there was basically just bath in the middle of this hallway, and there was no kettle, didn't have a microwave, so we'd have to go out and grab food. But she would make me a bath by I had a steamer for stripping wallpaper, and she would literally just turn the steamer on. She would come over, turn the steamer on, and fill up a bath with hot water, just using like the water from using the steamer like a kettle. And like it would take like 20 steamers to like fill up a bath, and that's how I'd have a bath before I went to work the next day. And so that's how we met. And so she's been with me ever since I was like in the trenches, basically. And so that's why she's a keeper, right? It's not some gold digger shit. No, she's been with me from the start, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I got some mad stories from back from back in the day, where it all began. I got let go from my job because they thought I was on cocaine, right? So my immediate boss at the time, bear in mind I was only 21 at the time. My senior boss was like, we got on quite well, but he obviously knew what I was doing, but the bosses above him didn't know what I was doing. So I told him, I was like, I'm doing property and I'm also doing this on as well. So I'm doing two things. But I used to come into work, and honestly, I was like, I've worked hard my entire life, but geez Louise, you have no idea how hard I worked back then. So I'd go to work, I'd get up, I'd have to catch the train in the morning. So I'd get up at like 6 in the morning, and then I'd do a full day's work. I'll get back about 6:30, 7, and then I'd have to do the renovation work on the house from 7 to about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd have about 2-3 hours sleep. Then I'd have to get up, go to work again, and I did that probably for. I think our first property took us about 3 months to do. So I did that for 3 months. 3 months on 2 hours sleep. And so you can imagine, like, I looked horrendous, right? I looked horrendous. And so like, everyone was like, you didn't know I was doing this property. And so like, you're all right, man. You look pretty ill. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And anyway, bosses above started thinking I was on drugs and stuff to stay awake. Anyway, one day, I think it's because they must have seen like plaster dust on my suit or something. Anyway, so what happened is, because it was like a high flying job, and I'd have to wear like a really crisp suit and all this kind of stuff. But obviously I'm like living like a tramp in a building site, right? I can't explain it. You'd have to see pictures, but it's like literally like a fucking building site. And I was just sleeping on this duvet with a pillow. But in order to get dressed in the morning, right, after having my shower, after having my bath, which was filled up with steamer juice, I would have to, do you know like underlay flooring? It's like that green stuff. It's like 6 mil in depth, and they come in squares and they're wrapped in cling film. Anyway, I had this, there was a boiler room in the house, and I'd put the essentially a stack. So there's probably about 50 of these green slabs inside of this boiler room. And then my suit would be hung on a peg coming out the wall. So when I come home, I'd strip, I'd put everything on this peg. Because literally, that was the only clean spot in the entire house. Everything else, if you touched it, you were getting caked in dust and crap, right? And so in the morning, one time, we had the place was completely plastered, right? And if you've ever been in a freshly plastered house, you get this plaster dust. It gets everywhere. Anyway, one day, when I was putting my suit on, I must have accidentally scraped my shoulder on the corner of like the doorway and got like a line on my shoulder of plaster dust, right? Anyway, I go to work unbeknownst because obviously I don't have a fucking mirror in this house. I had nothing. I get to work, and then about an hour in, the boss pulls me into the office, and by this time I'm just looking absolutely awful. And they're like, my name's Jack. So like, Jack, is everything okay? Like, just need to know if you're, just on drugs, or it's okay, you can tell us you're addicted to drugs. I was like, no, what are you talking about? What on earth gives you that idea? Or, what gives you that impression? I would never go near drugs. And he was like, it's just like, you've come in, you're a little bit off, and then you've come in this morning and you've got what looks like cocaine on your shoulder. I was like, you have no idea, bro. I was like, this is plaster dust. And they were like, yeah, sure, mate. Sure. Anyway, so we're in this like round table room, like all the senior bosses. And they gave me an ultimatum, because ultimately I had to tell them what I was doing at that point. I was like, look, I'm creating a real estate business in the background. I'm also doing this. And they're saying, well, we have this entire career path for you. Do you want this, or do you want your real estate business? And so they said, think about it and come back. Anyway, 2 days later, I called them all into the office, and I just took my tie off. I went, guys, it's been a pleasure. But I'm done. And I've never worked for anyone ever again. Ever since that day. Never worked for anyone ever again. As soon as I took my tie off, put it on the desk, that was it. Never gone back. So it kind of put the rocket up my jacksie to obviously make that project a success. Anyway, 3 months later, we ended up finishing that project. Well, it wasn't about 3 months later. There was a couple of weeks left before we completed that after I ended it. And sold it and made like, I can't remember, I think it was like 15,000 profit or something like that. Not huge money, but something. And so at that point, we were like, my brother and I were like, okay, we're not half bad at this. Let's do it again. And then we were like, okay, so what do we call this business? We didn't have a name for it. And so as we were walking out of the road where we built the house, the road was called Annesley. It's called Annesley Road. And so we're like, should we just call our property Annesley? I'll call our business Annesley. And so we created a business called Annesley, and it still exists today. And now it's evolved into an absolute monster where, we've got apartment blocks all over the place, contracts with pension funds, developing blocks of apartments for vulnerable adults. And it all started sleeping in this stripped out room with a duvet and a pillow. With my boss thinking I was a cocaine addict. So there you go. If you want my early stories, there you go. But good times. Enjoyed it. Right, guys, I'm gonna call this little session here. I'm just expecting price to chop around all the way now until sort of 9:30. So I'm gonna go do some other stuff. I've got some property stuff I probably need to catch up on. So I'm gonna call today's little session. I obviously took this trade this morning. More than happy. $300 for me in this morning. All well and good. So if I were you, I'd look to see how price. If you are gonna keep looking to trade, look to see how price respects this BPR. up here. Don't say short it, but just have a look at it, see how price interacts it. You want to study price. This is what you want to be doing. And then ultimately wait for the news at 9:30. Big news. You got Jerome Powell speaking. Okay, and then just act accordingly. I'll be looking at this BISI on the hourly, this old high, and then this SIBI for prices to go short or long. Just working inside of this, but just act accordingly, right? And then that would evolve. That will evolve as the day progresses. All right. So if you're inside a red pill, I'll catch you in a bit inside a red pill. If not, I'll probably catch you tomorrow during the London session. All right. So take it easy, guys. Peace.